wrestling news. AEW is currently going down right now. Some people might want to ask about that. Some people are asking about the DIDDY trial. I honestly did not prep for the DIDDY trial at all. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. Celtics versus Knicks are happening. Celtics are trying to make this a thing, despite not being able to beat New York much, even with their all-star player. And now he's out for even the next season. A lot of craziness there. A lot of Diddy oil going down. A lot of craziness. The SABU stuff is the big stuff, though. That's what I want to go over. More than anything. And we're live, man. If you guys want to chime in tonight, you can super chat. That's cool. I love it. But it would be even better if you use the donation button pinned to the top of the stream. That would be the better way to support the show. We're trying to get back on YouTube a little bit more. It's been a really bad last couple of months, so I've had to do a lot more real-life work, and that's resulted in me not being here as much. And my computer is frying itself. So if you want to donate, the best way is Streamlabs pinned to the top of the chat. As always, if you want to, that's the best way to do it. Even if you only have $1 or $2, throw it in the shows, man. Fuck it. When the alert goes off, it's fun. And it entices other people to do it. So hey, make it a party, make it a snowball effect, or don't, whatever. And we'll just, we'll do what we do either way. But it would help. Also, for you weirdos out there who like Venmo and Snapchat or Cash App or whatever the hell it is, you can do that if you want instead. I get it. Some people don't like the PayPal and the Streamlabs. Okay, well, there's Venmo and Cash App. If you're really that crazy, let's get crazy. But other than that, we're going to move on and get into this whole SABU thing. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with this. I think there's a lot of people talking about a lot of craziness with SABU. He was on some, was it Kratom or something like that? People are talking about that. People are blaming Joey Janela, that it's Joey Janela's fault that Sabu's dead. I mean, like he pushed him to do it. It's like, let me tell you something, man. While I get it, everybody always looks for somebody to blame. You know what I'm saying? There's always someone we want to blame, or you want to blame it on somebody, or it's got to be this, that, and the other thing. Listen, while maybe Sabu needed someone to step in and grab him, but and say like, no, you're not doing this, we're not doing that, blah, 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 blah. Listen, GCW has enabled wrestlers to take their own lives into their hands constantly. And by the way, wrestling in general, every time you get out there into the ring and you start doing triple flips off the top rope of things, you're taking your life in your own hands no matter what promotion you're working for or you're going to or you're seeing. Yes, GCW might be a little more extreme and there's more possibilities for things to happen. An oversight of stuff isn't there maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Yes. Okay, I get that. That's wrestling. You know what I mean? There's a certain amount of wrestling where it's like it's kind of on the performer. It's a little bit on the promoter. Yes, it's on the company. It's on the decision making. It's on the two wrestlers out there or the multiple wrestlers out there, and then it's on that you individually as your own wrestler. You're advocating for yourself, and who's gonna tell the guy no? Who's gonna say to Sabu no? I'm not a big fan of the blood, death type of stuff. I like when there's one or a couple of matches that might get a little crazy, like a GCW match. I'm not a fan of like stabbing somebody with glass or like stabbing them with a fork and stuff like that. That's never appealed to me. I don't get that at all. I think it's stupid and it looks dumb to me most of the time, and I'm just like, ugh, like I don't. I like the idea of a bottle breaking over somebody's head or like maybe even glass and stuff like that, going through a glass window or something. Those things are fun because I feel like the explosion is fun and all that stuff, whether it's real glass or candy glass or whatever. I just think that that's fun. But like just taking glass and stabbing somebody, I just think that sucks. But I understand that there's a lot of people out there that are just like, well, if you're in a match like this, why don't you just stab the guy? Because that's what I would do. If I'm in a fight like that, I just stab him. I wouldn't like throw him through a window or like hit him with the bottle. I would stab him to kill him. And so like that's sort of I think where that comes from, that appeal comes from, is like, well, let's be logical. It's a real death match or a fight to the death. You're going to stab someone maybe. I feel like, and I feel like death matches, it's like should only happen like that, like once in a blue moon, where you're like, I'm willing to take this and go to your jugular with this thing. But like, that's not what I want to see. I don't want to see that. If I wanted to see somebody like stab somebody or like things like that go down, I would rather watch a real like UFC match. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't. But don't get me wrong. I like GCW stuff. I like when people explode through glasses and when people go into barbed wire pits and barbed wire tables and shit like that. I'm not against that stuff at all. Sometimes if it's too much of it, it's like, okay, well, I'm getting desensitized. It's not working. But I don't have a problem with that at all. The only thing that I would say I don't want to see really is, skewers in someone's head. Like, I never liked staple guns either. I always thought staples are fucking stupid. You can't see anything. It's like some people use real staples. Some people don't use any staples. I don't like staples. So I'm not really in on staples. And I'm in on thumbtacks. Thumbtacks I think are exciting. The way you go into them and they're and you can see the visual of them sticking all over somebody. So I like thumbtacks. But anything where you're really stabbing someone. So I feel like it should be like this. You have Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan's Real Pro Wrestling. Then you have WWE and Pro Wrestling. And then you have UFC, right? Because now UFC is real fighting. So I feel like there's another level missing, right? I feel like Death Fight is the next company that needs to launch. And quite honestly, if there's anybody out there, I'll help you promote it. I'll help you do it. Well, I'm not that I'm going to help. What am I going to do? But I mean, I'll help you build it. I'll work with you. So let's go, guys. Let's create Death Fight. And I know what you're thinking. It's kind of like Celebrity Death Match. Yeah, kind of is like Death Match. But Death Match is already synonymous with wrestling and fake and whatever. So we can't use Death Match. Death Fight. Death Fight. Death Fight, like death metal plays. And in Death Fight is just like UFC, except like you maim your opponent with a weapon of choice, right? Or like we could come up with curious ways of weapons being used and shit. It's not like the night battle where they've got swords and shields and stuff. This is like straight up, like you have a hammer. I have barbed wire bat, whatever, things like that. And maybe you get to choose your weapon, or maybe it's random. I don't know. But we'll come up with it. Now, it probably would never be legal because it's like you really are going to kill somebody and people are going to probably die or get really close to it. There's going to be doctors on hand and stuff like that. But, I mean, so that's why they probably wouldn't do Death Fight. It's just too barbaric. But that's where it's at. But I don't want to see fake wrestling death match fight. So anyway, that's how I feel about it. But that being said, I still like GCW, a lot of GCW stuff. I really do. I think 80% of GCW is usually pretty good. I like it. But did they kill Sabu? People are saying they killed Sabu. People are saying Joey Janela killed Sabu. I mean, that's crazy to say that sort of thing. We're going to get into it. We are going to get into it, guys. There's a lot of people saying stuff. There's videos. We're going to watch it all. We're going to get into it all, okay? What about a pizza cutter? Yeah, I mean, in the Death Fight, you can use a pizza cutter. Yes. Death Fight, pizza cutter. Wrestling, no. Pizza cutter's fucking retarded. Use a pizza cutter in wrestling, it's retarded. You're really, like, stupid. You're, like, low IQ stupid, in my opinion. I'm serious. If you use a pizza cutter in wrestling, you're fucking retarded. If you use like staples, pizza cutter, skewers, forks, knives, glass, sharp edges where you stab someone, it's fucking stupid. I don't care. You do it, fine. Some people scream or whatever the fuck. I think it's fucking retarded. That's me. I think it's retarded. But that being said, I still like explosions. I like barbed wire. I like tacks. I like diving into shit. Broken panes of glass. I'm game for a lot of stuff. But anything where it's like you're stabbing with a fucking pizza cutter is retarded. You can't really see. All you see is the blood, and it's just gore for no, like, it's so much more exciting to me when someone gets like slingshotted into a steel post and then they come up bleeding. I find that like fun and exciting. But I don't find it exciting when you just stab someone in the head with a knife. Like, if I want to see that, I'll watch a knife fight. And there's another company that we could launch, Knife Fight. That could be pretty good. What are you watching tonight? Oh, I'm watching Knife Fight or Knife Fighting. That's pretty cool. But, I don't want to... Oh, I stabbed him with a fork. Okay. Well, at that point, cut someone's head off and win the match. Like, what's the point?
I've been going to wrestling shows for over 30 years. Never in all that time have I ever felt, until last Sunday, that my security, my safety, my life was in danger at a wrestling show.
Maple Leafs being the Maple Leafs. They were literally beating us 2-0 in a series, and now we are about to be 3-2 in the series, and we are kicking their ass so bad. Maple Leafs fans are delusional every year.
Yeah, every year the Maple Leafs fans, for some reason, believe they're going to win that year. They're like Jets fans. So, like, if you were to compare any two groups of people, I would compare New York Jets fans to Maple Leafs fans. And I'm sorry to the Jets fans, but it's like every year the Jets fans are like, we're going to kick your ass this time. Not everybody. There are some Jets fans out there that are like, no, we fucking blow and fuck this. But, like, I used to have Jets fans talking shit to me forever. I had Jets fans calling me a piece of shit in 95, in 97, in 99, in 2001, in 2004, in 2007. I mean, bro, New York Jets fans, Patriots suck. You suck. In 96, 99, 2005, 2010, 2020. It's just New York Jets fans. Oh, we're going to fucking be awesome next year. Fuck you. Well, suck my cock, New York Jets. But the Maple Leafs fans are a little bit like that, but I wouldn't say they're as bad. I think the Maple Leafs fans are just like, they try to believe every time, and it doesn't work out. We'll see, but it's kind of a BJ that's happening to them right now. No doubt about it. Celtics fans are probably the worst fans of Boston. Like, if you were to break down, like, who are the worst fans? Is it Patriots fans? Is it Red Sox fans? Is it Bruins fans? It's Celtics fans. It's no contest. The worst fans in Boston are probably the Celtics fans. You might think it's the Patriots, but it's the Celtics. But yeah. The Jets suddenly aren't featured on primetime anymore. I don't know. The Jets, they're a mess right now. I feel like the Patriots are, like, it would be like if I was a Patriots fan, like, now saying, like, we're gonna rule now, man. Look out. We got Mac Jones, and now look out, bro. We got the new guy, Drake May. It's like, well, calm down. You don't know what you are yet or what you're gonna do. So I am not, I think the Patriots got a little bit better this offseason, and they'll be maybe be a little bit better next year. But, like, do I think that, like, we're going to do it now? Like, it's no. Like, why would you think that? Before the Patriots could ever think about being good again to go to the Super Bowl or something, they need to worry about, like, beating their own division. We used to beat the shit out of our division for like 20 years. So now we have to worry about not being in last place of our division and beating most of the division. How are you going to do that? That's the first thing you got to try to do. Forget about, playoffs and Super Bowls. You have to try to beat, like, at least get into second place, not be in last or second to last of the division. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, but not all Jets fans are like that. But I mean, a lot talk shit. In my past, 20 years. 25 years. What's up, in Indrani? How you doing, brother? Joe Bishop, how you doing? Kerman, how you doing, man? There's a lot of people in here. But where's all the OGs? Where is everybody gone? Where has all the cowboys gone? The Celtics are winning 113-89 right now. If they don't blow it, I think they can win this game, and they can certainly win one more. I mean, even without their star player. So I wouldn't think so, based on the fact that with their best player, the Celtics have not been able to play well, even with their best player against the Knicks. The Knicks have somehow found a way to beat the Celtics. The Knicks suck, and they've somehow found a way to beat the Celtics. So, I think the Knicks should win the series, but at least the Celtics could win tonight to not be completely embarrassed. It'd be nice. Because I thought they were going to win the title again, but I mean, now without Tatum, who knows? All right, let's start going over some of this SABU stuff, because we have quite a few things to go over as far as wrestling news and other things. I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me. We are trying to get 100 likes tonight. Trying to make a couple of bucks. Trying to get 100 likes. So if you want to donate, the Streamlabs link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you can't donate on Streamlabs or PayPal, the preferred way, but if you can't, you can always Super Chat or become a member. Or you can send donations to Venmo or Cash App if you want to do it that way. Some people like to do it that way. It's up to you. Let's get into some of this SABU stuff, but I don't want to miss it because I know there's a lot of people that are still watching AEW right now, so we're sort of delaying into it. But let's get into a little bit of, first of all, let's take a look at some of this. I mean, you've all seen the clips of SABU and some of this shit. I mean, it's so crazy what SABU did, and rest in peace to SABU. I mean, I love how this guy put his whole heart and life on the line all the time, and I don't know. It's speculation about, did this guy know that he was going to die, or was he dying and he was like, well, I want to go out, having a crazy match. I don't want to die without having a crazy match. I want to go out there and do something. And that's part of why he took this drug to help him, allegedly, sort of get through the match. His legs weren't working, allegedly, as well. And he said, no, fuck this. I want to get out there and do this. Maybe that played a role into it. I mean, maybe even people like Joey Janela. We don't know what Joey Janela said. I would love to get Joey Janela on this show to ask him a couple of questions. I mean, did Joey Janela say, no, man, you really should just pack it up, or you should take it easy and not wrestle. Don't even worry about it, man. We'll do I'll do something else. It'll be all right. It's all good, and then Sabu was like, no, that's not what I want. I want to go out there and do it. I got, whatever. We don't know. It's all speculation. Did he know he was going to die, and so he, risked it all? Or did he not, or did he was he just trying to compete? Was he just doing what all wrestlers would do? And that's like, hey, man, inject me, coach. Let me go out there and I'll throw myself around like a fucking rag doll if I have to. Let's go. I mean, most likely Occam's razor, it's that. It's just that he was, his legs locked up a couple of days or whatever it was before the match. And he was like, let me take this kratom stuff or kratom or whatever he took allegedly and, make him somewhat viable on the match. I think that's most likely that's what happened. We'll get into. We have a lot of different clips here.
It was crazy. The match was unbelievable, and it was really extreme. Everybody got cut up, bruised up, beat up. My wife called me because it was live streamed across the world. She said, hey, you're 67 years old, Fonzie. You can't be doing that. I said, yes, I can, Daddy.
Did you get a chance to talk to Sabu after the match?
Oh, yeah, man. He was happy with the outcome. He was all cut up. He was getting Band-Aid up and checking out all his cuts and gigs and bruises and bumps. He was excited about the whole production. The barbed wire was crazy. The match was
I mean, Sabu was out there just like reckless abandonment. You know? I mean, and that's not even the shot. We've seen the shot where he gets thrown into the ropes or the barbed wire ropes, and they just break, and he goes flying, or he misses them or something. He goes through them and falls on the back of his head and smashes his head and probably has a concussion. And then I guess the Sandman came out after that and like it woke him up or something. I don't know anything fully, right? And I'm speculating on a lot of stuff, obviously, but I think that, you know, Sabu knew maybe it was coming to the end here, and he wanted to go all out, you know. But again, you know, I don't think I can blame Joey Janela. I don't know why people are really going after Joey. I mean, Sabu liked Joey. From everything that I've seen, is Sabu loved what he was doing. He was like super happy and appreciative to be doing it with Joey Janela, I feel like. I feel like Sabu gave Joey Janela his blessing. I feel like Sabu was very happy with what he and Joey Janela were doing. I mean, there's multiple videos and different instances and other examples of that. I just don't know, you know, that sort of thing. I don't know. But nobody really knows yet. But we're going to start looking into it. We're going to listen to some interviews by Sabu and, you know, by Joey Janela. We're going to read some tweets. We're going to listen to videos. We're going to go over it tonight. I mean, we're not, you know. But just remember, like I said, I don't know shit because nobody knows shit. Only, you know, like, you know who knows the most about all this right now would be Sabu. He's not here. You know who knows probably the second most about all this? Probably, I don't know, but I think Joey Janela. Joey Janela is probably the one that knows the most about this. But people online that don't know almost anything are the ones that are saying like, oh, Joey Janela killed Sabu. Like, that's sick. If you don't really know, like, cite, what are the examples of that? Because he was in a match that was hardcore with the guy? He didn't die in the match. He didn't die the next day after the match, you know? But that's what people are, you know, that's what people are saying. You know, they're saying that, like, GCW killed Sabu. They're saying Joey Janela killed Sabu. They're saying, you know, the drug killed. You don't, nobody knows this. Like, the coroner might know this. You know, like we don't really know what happened. You know, there's just people saying these things. But what I know is that the guy went out there, like, determined to have this match, whether his body didn't work or not. And he went out there, and he had the match. And from all accounts that I've seen, he was happy with the reaction, happy that he did it. I'm sure that, like, he knew for weeks how well it was being watched on YouTube. Like on YouTube Shorts and clips and the internet, like so many people were watching this. Like, it was doing really well all over the internet. So, like, Sabu had to be aware, like, damn, like, this, hell yeah, brother. Like, everybody, you know, I mean, how many people saw the clips of Sabu diving into the shit, like, and getting waffled and everything? A lot of people saw it. So, I mean, I would think Sabu seemingly looked pretty happy with that. We're going to talk about Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff's real wrestling. I'm going to explain why I believe that they don't give a shit about the whole thing anyway, and I'm going to show you what I mean about that. Let's hear some of Dutch Mantel's comments. He did the story time with Dutch Mantel and that other guy that does the hosting with him who's really been blowing up on YouTube. Nice hair. Hard to believe I'm going to be 41 in about a month, but we'll leave it to the younger guys. Let's listen a little bit.
He was very giving in his nature. He took his character very seriously. Many reports of him wanting to help younger talent look good, quite frankly, at his expense. Sabu was also sort of the owner of one of the few moral compasses, I guess, within wrestling, in a way, when it came to his character, because he was completely uncompromising. He wouldn't do what he didn't want to do. With WWF, it's also been said that Sabu should have been a millionaire many times over, and just every single time he was close to signing a big deal, something would ruin it. So 1993 in the WWF, they wanted to sign him for like $250,000 a year, but they wanted to give him the Iron Sheik instead of his uncle, the original Sheik, as a manager, and Sabu just went, nope, not interested. So he went back to FMW and ECW. WCW.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about, Sabu either self-sabotaging or being sabotaged by stuff like that. The guy just couldn't get a deal. But he couldn't. It's so crazy. It's true. Guy could have been... He just kept it real, dude. It didn't matter. I had no, I'll starve on the indies or I'll starve in a small promotion before I will live like a king in a creative I don't agree with. Like, that's wild. But that's Sabu. That's badass. That's why I always hope the fans would fund him a little bit more, Like, people would really meant a lot when they bought his shirts live or paid for anything he was doing, because it was like, man, maybe, if anything you can do to fund this guy or help him, because the guy is living for the art. Legit.
In 1995.
Okay, they wanted to give him another name or a manager or what?
They wanted to alter. He was eating clean and all that kind of thing for a year to prepare for it. Anyway, this is what Janela said prior to the match. He is told that Sabu can't walk. So here's the quote. What do you mean Sabu can't walk? They said, yes, Sabu, something about his knees. They're locked up. He can't walk. And also, his feet are bleeding. He's not coming. Sabu's not coming. Janela recalled. I said, Sabu's
His feet, wait a minute. I've never heard that before. His feet are bleeding.
That's the quote.
From what?
Don't know. I don't think he stood on a cactus. Or
do you have Google?
What? Bloody
Can't
foot syndrome?
you Google that and see what makes you bleed from the feet?
I don't want to know.
Aren't we all damn self-appointed?
I can tell you this right now. Bleeding on the feet can be caused by a variety of factors, including injury, poor circulation, and underlying medical conditions. Common causes include trauma from footwear, pressure injuries, and peripheral artery disease, which restricts blood flow. Other causes include diabetes and Raynaud's phenomenon and bleeding disorders. So there's a good chance that, I don't want to speculate because we can't, but there's just a good chance. I mean, you can, but you don't know what you're talking about. There's a chance that Sabu could have been dealing with something wild that we didn't know about, that he didn't know about, or he was ignoring it. I don't know. Maybe. There's a chance he was dealing with something medical and he either wasn't treating it or was not giving it attention, or he was just dealing with it and he wanted to wrestle anyway. But yeah, bleeding feet, lots of things. Poor circulation, diabetes, trauma. I mean, I would bet more something like poor circulation due to something. Like something's going on. There's some kind of disorder. I don't know. But the guy wrestled. I mean, he was in shape. So why would he have poor circulation? I don't know. Could be a lot of different things. But, yeah. So that's crazy. We'll listen to a little bit more. I got multiple clips we're going to go into.
Wanted doctors at this point?
I know. So anyway, Janela says, so we talked to indie wrestling Matt Tremont, and Tremont is about to be the replacement for the match. And I feel like this is going to be the most embarrassing moment of my wrestling career, of many, I guess. There's 2,000 people here. This is one of the biggest spring breaks ever, the biggest crowd mania weekend, indie-wise, and I'm going to have to go out there and announce that Sabu once again no-showed, and no-showed his own retirement match.
Okay, where was he?
He was in the hotel, I think.
Where's the match?
Vegas.
Okay, he's in a hotel. Okay,
he was in the hotel with his feet bleeding. Right. So we're an hour into the show, and someone said, just get Sabu here, Janela continued. So they gave him something called Kratom, which you're going to talk about in a minute, in fact. You can buy it at a smoke shop or something. It's like a legal opiate or something, they said. He's hopping on bed, he's hopping off the bed, and we're going to get him to the show. So he shows up 2 hours into the show. Sabu was on a different effing planet. Everyone in backstage was like, what the F? Is this match going to happen? And my God, did it happen. Kratom.
Very, very strong drug. Very strong. You can walk into any one of those. What are those shops called? Smoke shops?
Yeah, smoke shops, head shops, whatever you want, yeah.
But that's a very, very, it's like heroin almost. I think in some places it's stronger than heroin. So, and it's called Kratom, kratom or something. So if anybody, and this is how you can get an education by listening to me and you, James. See,
Wait, is it legal?
we knew all this bull crap that won't make you die, but it will harm you. Don't ever use this drug, even though it is legal. You can buy it over the counter in the United States. Over the counter, you can buy it. So,
What?
did they get him some of that?
Apparently so. In fact, I'm going to continue because this will play into Kratom or whatever. GCW owner Brett Lauderdale released a statement defending his usage of Sabu at last month's spring break event, saying he would never put someone in the ring who he thought would be a danger to themselves or others. We can never book Sabu. He's always he's a danger to himself more than anyone else.
I mean, right there, I don't buy that. I mean, everybody, you know what I mean? Like, come on. But yeah, I get what he's saying.
Anyway.
Isn't that almost a worded section now that you can just pull it up and say, if you use him, you can say this. It's almost word. If he didn't kill himself one way, you know, he'd keep working on it. And
he did some extreme stuff even in his last match. He ended up head first into like a barbed wire structure or trampoline or whatever it was. Anyway, this is Brett Lauderdale from GCW, the owner. He says, any suggestion that I or GCW or Joey Janela forced Sabu to do this match, supplied him with substances, or somehow caused his death is irresponsible, disingenuous, hurtful, and false. It's upsetting and discouraging to see people so eager to cast judgment without knowledge of all the facts.
I see. I think is nobody knows. You don't know. Like people, like, dude, like for all you know, GCW and Sabu like got along unbelievably well, and they loved him, and he loved them. And Joey Janela and him, I know Joey Janela was liked by, you know, Sabu. The guy was blowing him all over the place. You know what I mean? Like Joey Janela was, you know, getting love from Sabu. Like these are the people that knew him the most kind of at the end, besides maybe a few close friends and stuff. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's crazy, man. You don't know, and these guys seemingly love the guy. Yeah.
I would never knowingly put someone who I believe was a danger to themselves or others in the ring, and my track record shows this to be true, he continued. I have pulled people in a public and painful manner from big matches before, sometimes literally moments before a match was to begin, and would do it again if I had to. I think Joey also says in his quote...
I need to know an example of who he's pulled from the match moment before they went into the ring. You can say anything, but you know the track record that Sabu had wasn't a secret. Everybody knew it. And why didn't he pull him from this one then?
Well, I also...
It's a great point. I mean, if the guy can't walk, and there's rumors that the guy can't walk, and maybe he's taking something like Kratom, and maybe you knew or didn't know that, wouldn't you just say, you know what, Sabu, we love you, brother. Why don't you come out and appear? Do something, take a chair shot, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But let's not do the match because it's not okay. You know, I want to see, I love you, but I don't want people to see somebody die out here. So we're not gonna do it. You know, maybe they pay him to appear and do something, but okay, but we'll see. We'll see, you know?
Also want to say just one thing. Joey also, I think in his, I don't know if it's Joey or Brett, also said that no one from GCW gave him the kratom or whatever it was. There's no suggestion at the moment that had anything to do with his passing. And also, they very much said that Sabu's people got him the kratom and administered it, gave it to him beforehand. So GCW are publicly.
I don't even know how you take kratom or what.
Yeah, you have to stick it in your dick hole. No, I don't know. I don't know what you do.
No, I didn't.
I think you just like chew it. I think.
That's crazy. How is that available? How do I not know about this? What happens if I take it?
It turned out, and it didn't turn out well. It didn't turn out well for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you want to say about Sabu? Because I know you didn't know him personally too well.
I don't think it surprises anybody, but
well, we still don't know the cause of death. By the way, we should say.
No, we don't. We don't know that, but sometimes we jump the gun and do all kind of stuff, and
we don't know anything, man. We really don't. I don't know why. Nobody knows any. We don't know. You don't know if he had a pre-existing condition. You don't know if something randomly happened that we don't know about with his body and his health that had nothing to do with the match. Maybe we don't know. But it was, it just happened to be 2 weeks after this horrific thing where we watched this match and we were like, damn, how is Sabu alive? Like, is he okay? And then 2 weeks later, he dies. So, of course, this is what people are going to speculate on and everything. Was it a drug? Was it some other kind of drug or pain things? We don't know. Was it just a heart attack? Did he just, boom, it's a real life thing that's going to happen anyway? I don't know. Was it a diabetic thing? Something going on we didn't know about? He knew about? I don't know. We don't know. You don't know. I don't know. Did he slip and hit his head at home because his legs didn't work right? And then he died. We don't know. You don't know. Everybody's, I'm just basically trying to go over what I believe to be, I would, from what I've heard, I feel like GCW is not guilty of really anything for the most part. I think that maybe GCW should admit, like, all right, I've pulled people from this, Brett, the owner. I've pulled people before, and I'll do it again. And, in light and whatever transpires going forward with, cause of death and stuff, potentially we may reevaluate, why the decision was made for him to compete in this match. But as far as we were concerned at the time, he was able to go. Things all seemed okay. He was of sound mind. We knew some of the things that they were planning to do, and we, some things happened that we knew about. Some things happened I didn't know about. He was happy after the match. Everybody was happy. Everything worked out. There was no serious, injury that we could find from that night. Everything seemed to be, as it was. He was happy with it. But now 2 weeks later with this happening, pending there be anything related to that match, we'll reevaluate. But right now, he went out there and we thought he was good to go and he thought he was good to go and everything seemed to be great. Now it's a couple weeks later and something's happened. We don't know if that's related. I don't know. So maybe there's room to maybe reassess what people do in the future, but yeah, just saying like, oh, he was good to go and we've pulled people before. Well, he wasn't really 100% to go, at all. So that is a little disingenuous from the owner, I think. But I would relieve GCW from what I can tell of most of blame of death. I don't unless we find out that this directly correlated with his death later on. Now you can examine some of this stuff. But I think, GCW is maybe guilty of kind of like, knowing the guy couldn't walk and suddenly he's going to go out there anyway and kind of riding the line a little bit and letting him go out there. You know, they're guilty of being a little reckless, but they're not guilty of murdering somebody that I can see yet. You know, that's crazy. They're not guilty of murdering the guy yet. And neither is Joey Janela guilty of murdering the guy. The guy who liked Joey Janela, the guy who worked with Joey Janela at the very end and really liked Joey Janela, he would. I think Sabu would be horrified, and maybe he'd think it's funny. I don't know, but I feel like Sabu would be maybe horrified that everyone's calling, Joey Janela a murderer or something like. Of the guy, they were friends. Like the other day.
If you smell what demonic
Whoa!
Hollywood is cooking, it's cooking babies, adrenochrome, brandy and Cody, your mix baby will do.
It's the Bad Omen 666.
The Rock,
he wants your soul. Then the Rock, Bad Omen 666.
From the bad man himself, rest in peace to one badass hardcore legend. One match I will never forget was Barely Legal 1997 when he fought Taz. Another is the flaming barbed wire match where he teamed with the Sheik. He will never be forgotten.
Man, Sabu was so awesome. He was so, he was perfect all the time back in those days because you'd have these different matches, but in the Sabu match, you always knew, okay, I don't know what the hell is going to happen in the Sabu match. He's fucking crazy. But yeah, we don't know what happened. Did he hit his head? Was it a concussion? Was it a diabetic thing? Was it a heart attack? A lot of times it's some kind of a heart attack, right? But I don't know. We don't know. Gianni says that in the chat. Yeah, but we don't know. Matt Rossmeyer said, "Hey, Bad Omen, thank you for the $10 donation, man. Appreciate that." Bad Omen 666, who's an OG on this channel. He's been here for over 8 years, and Bad Omen is still here. He took a while off. We hadn't seen him in a while, and he's back. Thank you, Bad Omen, man. Thank you so much, bro. It's been a weird couple of weeks. The last 4 weeks, man. It's like everybody died or went into hiding. One of my best friends in real life died, and it's crazy. I keep going to text him and he's not alive. It's awful. That's the second Bob I've known that died. I have one Bob left. My childhood friend Bob is still alive. I have one left. Another guy I played basketball with when I was a kid, he just died. He went in to do some heart thing. He had a heart thing, I guess. And he was a wrestling fan, so he used to tell me, I'm going to the wrestling show, and we'd talk about it. He had a heart thing he put off because he was afraid of dying because there's a small chance something could happen. It was 4% chance things go wrong or something. And he was worried about that, so he was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And then 8 years later, he's like, all right, I should do it. I'm going to go do it. He died because of it. Crazy. His kid is 18. I was looking at his kid the other day, and I'm like, man, I remember looking at your kid in the crib, at just being, being born and just being a new baby, and I didn't have kids yet, and yeah, it's just crazy, bro. Crazy as hell to see his kid 18 and he's just died. Crazy. I mean, I know my father died when I was 8, so it's I get people die. It's not, no one knows, any more than when you have a parent that dies and you're a kid. You right away you're like, oh shit, people can just die at any point, really quickly. It could be gone. So I usually just always try to say bye to people. I say bye every time to people like it's over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and people are always like, probably like, what's wrong with you? You know, like, hey man, love you, like, or love you kids, love you, like everybody, see you later. Like, I get really terrified of that. So I'm always like, maybe I'm a little too paranoid, but you just never know what the hell is going to happen. So, yeah, it's crazy. But Sabu, you could have predicted it. You could have predicted it. Mox is a bleeder. Yeah, he bleeds a lot. Moxley bleeds a lot. Let's go ahead and let's watch some more. We have more clips. Let's break down this. This is broken down by Deontay. This guy did a huge breakdown of the Sabu stuff. It's kind of crazy. And I want to get into it. And then I want to get into the Hogan stuff too. I'm going to tell you about the Hogan and Bischoff stuff.
Sabu shockingly passed away last weekend at the age of 60, just a couple of weeks after his final match on WrestleMania weekend in GCW. The initial shock of his passing has raised a lot of questions as to what exactly transpired between then and his death, with the subject of drugs, murder, and...
It's crazy him hugging Joey Janela here with the hand, kind of flexed. And he's just, very weak here. But does that look like a guy that doesn't... It's like this guy liked Janela. You know what I mean? He was appreciative of Janela and knew that Janela really looked up to him. And there's a part of me... And listen, could there be something nefarious somewhere that I don't know about and I could be duped? Okay, I'll admit that. Maybe. But I don't think so. I think that him and Janela worked together on stuff. And I think he wanted to help Joey Janela. And I think they became kind of friendly. And I think Joey Janela really looks up to Sabu. And I think it's fucking crazy sick that people are out there calling like Janela a murderer and shit. Like, that is so fucking sick crazy. Thank God that Joey Janela has probably some thick skin. I mean, granted, he might back down from a fight from Enzo Amore, but, and he backs down from Cronin, but, Joey Janela, like, I don't know, calling the guy a murderer, like, is... some kind of crazy evil shit when you don't really know what the fuck's going on. And this guy literally knew Sabu. You don't know Sabu. You don't know Sabu at all. You pretty much don't know him. Other than being a wrestling fan, you probably don't know Sabu. But you know who does know Sabu? Joey Janela knows Sabu. So you got thousands of people on the internet saying that Joey Janela is a murderer or GCW is a murderer or whatever. And meanwhile, these people had a real connection with Sabu and loved Sabu and talked to him frequently. And people online who don't know their relationship and don't know Sabu really and don't really know Joey Janela are out there saying like, oh, you murdered Sabu or you're the reason or you did this to Sabu. Like, that's fucking crazy when you think about it. Like, if you just pull back a little bit and you start to think about that, that's wild. Think about if you really are Joey Janela and you actually were friends with Sabu and people don't really know your relationship. It reminds me of when I helped Tommy NC. When Tommy NC and me, he used to call my show all the time, blah, 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 and he only had 2,000 subscribers, right? He had 2,000 subs, called my show, used to call me crying on the phone that he wished he was bigger and that his channel was bigger and he wanted to be more famous to entertain people. And he called me crying and he was very upset because I was getting thousands of subscribers and he didn't know what he was doing wrong and all these sort of things. And then one time this guy Leafy made a video about him and it kind of got big, but then it kind of died off. And then I said, dude, make a video where you're suicidal and make everybody feel bad for you. It'll go viral. Your response should be like, oh, whatever. It worked so well, it's almost unbelievable. And then Tommy called me crying again because he was unable to go live the night of when he was getting all this fucking fame and shit. And he was unable to go live because it was a storm or he couldn't figure out his YouTube. And I said, Tommy, I'm going to go live for you if you want. I'll go live from my channel. I'll take your call. And nobody will know that we're broadcasting on your channel from my house. So we went live on his channel, but from my house because I got his password and stuff, and I went live for him and hosted it so that he could do it. And then he asked me, Joe, can you be crazy, Joe, and be this maniac that you always are in your show? I want you to be like that on my show so it's funny and stuff. And blah, blah. I'm like, okay, Tommy, that works great. You'll be the straight guy, like, explaining how all this stuff happened, and I'll be this kind of wacky retard guy on the side. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. He's like, okay. And we go live, and I act like a fucking idiot. I talk about putting toothbrushes in my ass and like fondling a stuffed animal. Well, the next day on Reddit, by the way, you can still read these articles on Reddit. It's people just bashing me everywhere and people making videos. This guy's trying to mooch off his success and what a scumbag and everything. The Joe Cronin guy is. What is up with that guy? And just people didn't understand. They had no idea because they knew him because of what had happened this past week and the fame that he was getting. And his video got 2 million views that I told him to make. But nobody knows who I am whatsoever from this group of people. And they're just making up their own idea that, oh, this guy is trying to mooch off of your, viralness that's going on. Meanwhile, I'm literally like his fucking producer producing the whole fucking thing, right? And we've got all the clips and the audio messages between me and Tommy to prove all of this. But they don't know that. From their point of view, I'm just some weird fuck who's tagging along. I get that, but they don't know me. They don't know that I know him well and that we're friends and that I worked these ideas out with him and that he went and did it. They don't even know that he's lying in the video and pretending to cry and that he's not really suicidal, that was all my idea. They don't even know that. They think it was real, except for Keemstar, who actually made a bunch of videos like he's faking it. Keemstar figured it out. Keemstar knew the guy was faking it, but, everybody played along that he's not faking it, and then Keemstar was like, all right, I'm sorry, I guess he's not. Even I made videos like, how dare you say he's faking it? He's fucking autistic. The whole thing was work. They didn't know we were all wrestling guys. But anyway, it's so late now that it doesn't matter that he faked it. Nobody cares anymore. But I couldn't say that for years because whatever, where the work was on. But that's what's going on, in my opinion, here with this sort of Janela thing where it's like, you don't know, these guys know each other. And a bunch of people who don't know these guys are the ones that are coming out and saying like, oh, you murdered Sabu. Or this guy is the reason that Sabu. That's crazy. And you don't know him. We don't know him.
Foul play even being suspected by some. Sabu had one hell of an extreme career, including rising to stardom to headline ECW's first pay-per-view in 1997 and be a large part of the promotion's history. But years of wild matches and even wilder bumps had taken its toll on his body. So when GCW...
Wow, let's talk about this guy. Shit bum! Jesus.
Doom the Dark Ages is pretty good.
Doom the Dark Ages. Oh, the new Doom game, that's right. Yeah, how's that been? Hey, Dan21, thank you for the $2 super chat. Yeah. I've been thinking about playing it. I've been looking at it, and I'm like, oh, yeah. But you know what? The last time I played Doom, it was like, when the last Doom came out, it's like I played it for like a couple of days, and that was it. So I'm like afraid to I have no money to buy it. I literally have I'm fucked right now. It's crazy. I don't want to sit here and make it about me. So I'm not going to, but yeah. It's been no ad revenue this past month. The donations are way down. A lot of the big donators are gone. I don't know what the fuck happened to all those people. People don't... Shit bum! It's fucking crazy.
When I first heard that you and Catboy broke up, I tried looking up what happened. On Reddit, someone said he slept with your wife, lol.
That's funny. God, my wife would never slept with him. He was... He basically, women accused him of terrible things, and he broke women's hearts. And, El Tapo, thank you for becoming a $5 shit bum. Yeah, he was very disgusting to women. We'll say that. But my wife would not sleep with him, no. She wouldn't. He was all right to her though. When we all hung out, and he was all right to her. And I don't think she ever, trusts anybody in YouTube world. But I mean, he was all right to her, and she was okay. But no, that would never happen, bro. If that had happened, I would be dead. I'd end myself if that had happened. I wouldn't be here. But no, I don't want to get into why that happened either. That's everybody knows, really. Who knows? The guy, he didn't show up to Out of Nowheres. He just didn't show up to episodes, and he started getting really moody. And eventually I called him out on it, and he didn't like that. And he said mean things to me publicly. And then I called him a pussy then. And then we got in a little fight, and then he left. That's what happened. And then people used to make fun of him, and I repeated their jokes about him. And he then sent me a cease and desist and a lawyer after me. And I told the lawyer to suck my dick and go fuck himself. And then they went away. And that's about it. That's really what happened. But I in overall, like he's not like a, I don't know, man. I miss that we were friends and the good stuff happened with us. It's too bad. My goodness. Wow. Is this a real person? Like, this looks like AI. Okay.
Bumps had taken its toll on his body. So when GCW announced that Sabu would be main eventing Joey Janela's Spring Break in a no-rope barbed wire match in Las Vegas the day before WrestleMania 41, there was a ton of skepticism because this is most definitely not what a banged-up 60-year-old should be doing. But this was Sabu, and Sabu was...
I can't believe that I'm only 19 years away from Sabu's age. That's fucking crazy to me. I feel like I'm 30 years away.
was certainly going to be Sabu until the end.
Here. Oh no, Joey! Oh, but Sabu's the winner. No, never mind.
Throughout his career, Sabu had become famous for no-showing bookings, including his own induction in the GCW Independent Hall of Fame. And he hadn't wrestled at all in several years. Even with a couple of traditional Sabu no-shows and promotional disagreements thrown in along the way, a large percentage of ECW's craziest moments involved him. Sabu, along with a few wrestlers...
Gabe Kidd, another NJPW poach they will never learn.
Gabe Kidd, another NGPW poach. Wow, they'll never learn. Ali Abdelaziz, thank you for the $2 super chat party. Yeah, well, did you hear about the other guy too who said that I gotta go on Twitter and find it, but he basically said that he believes everybody should call everybody they them. Who's the guy? Somebody in the chat. He's the really fucking douchey new guy that AEW loves. Who's the guy? He's a brand new guy. He's a douchey looking guy. I want to say his name is like Mickey or something stupid. Well, he looks like he dresses like he's like a Japanese samurai type of guy, but he looks like a white guy to me. And he was like, the other day on Twitter, he was like, well, you know, in the future or as soon as possible or something like that, I really think that everybody should just call everybody they, them until someone tells you what their pronouns are. Like what? Speedball, that's his name, yeah. So it's like, so you think everybody should call everybody they, them until somebody tells you the pronoun? So you want every exchange with every person to involve pronouns then. So if you're doing something and you're like, oh, ask they, ask them, ask they. What do you call thyself? What are thy's pronouns? What are they's pronouns? What are your pronouns? Like, so you have to do that with everybody? It's like, he was basically like, well, no, I you know, really what it should be is just that everybody asks. I thought he was talking about like when you don't know what somebody is. Like if you look at somebody and you're like, is this person identify as a man or a woman? I don't even know. Well, then you should just go safe and say they. That I sort of kind of get. Like, okay, I don't agree, but I get that opinion. That makes kind of sense to me. I understand. But I guess what he was saying was, no, everybody. You should, even if this big-breasted, really a female for sure, born female person, or a dude who looks like a lumberjack, like, you should never assume their pronouns, like, ever. And you should always ask or start by using they, them to everybody. And I was like, well, that's fucking crazy and stupid. And you're in the very small minority of
If you
people that
smell
believe
what
that.
demonic
Hollywood is cooking. It might be babies.
Adrenochrome,
Cody.
and Cody, your mix, baby.
Yes!
will do.
So give me the both of you. The Rock, he wants your soul. Then The Rock, he wants your home. Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Janela. The Rock. The dogs are by the pool. Give it up, everybody, for Serious Stroke Game. Longtime beast. And there's another OG right there. Look at this. All the big-time donator bombers are gone. They hate me now. But guess what? Some of the OGs who used to pop in and drop a couple slappers here or there, they're back, apparently. People like Serious Stroke Game. So that's at least encouraging. Thank you, Serious Stroke Game, for chiming in, man. What's been up? So where was I? Interrupt the show at any point, man. Streamlabs pinned to the top. It's funny because I do this all the time, and it's kind of the SABU thing. I never even thought about that. I always go, it's pinned to the top, and I point up like this. It's kind of SABU. I never noticed that. It's weird. Weird coincidence. So thank you, Serious Stroke Game. Let me stroke my own ego. How about that? No, I don't think Joey killed SABU. I don't know why. You should watch this whole stream because I've been over it a bunch already, but there's so much more to talk about. Yeah, I'm just surprised that you would say that everybody should call everybody they, them. I mean, that's kind of strange. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. We're somehow back on the air tonight, somehow.
That you can definitely think of were the personification of the spirit of ECW. Extreme Championship Wrestling was built.
We all get Extreme Championship Wrestling. Let's get into GCW stuff.
ECW promoter went on to say, quote, "Of course no showing was in the back of my mind, but I felt like SABU was genuine. And one thing about SABU I've come to learn over the years is behind all of the drama and silliness, SABU has a lot of pride. And not only did he want to do it, but he wanted to give his best effort."
The GCW owner looks like John Moxley's illegitimate fucking little brother or something.
Now, for those of us who are familiar with SABU, his best is taking something insane, timesing it by 100, and putting a cherry on top. He's as haywire in the best way possible as anyone in the history of pro wrestling. But it was hard for anyone to imagine that a 60-year-old SABU could deliver that kind of spectacle like he once did. ECW legend The Sandman went on to say, quote, "He was so revered in the business for just not giving a shit about his body and doing anything any night. He broke his jaw in a match with me. The barbed wire match with Terry Funk, he had his skin ripped open like an inch deep, and he tells Fonzie to go into the locker room and get some tape, and he just tapes up his arm. That's a beast. I'll tell you, I'm never not impressed by the lengths that ECW legends went to not only be extreme, but to prove themselves as the underdog in the scene, which was dominated by two behemoths at the time."
Man, you see that TV that this guy is using to show the replays of some of the actual footage on? I mean, that looks like maybe AI or something, but I mean, it doesn't look far off from the exact TV that I had in my bedroom when I watched ECW. Because I did have a TV in my bedroom in 1996 and 7 and 8, 9 and 2000. And that was literally the TV. Like, it was like a gray, 1999. Trying to find it, like we could find the exact one. Like it had a built-in VHS. Here we go. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like you guys all had one like this. Yep, here it is. Here it is. This is legit it. This is the TV. This is crazy. Well, hold on, I'm getting it. This, guys, this is the TV. That Panasonic right there, that is legitimately my exact TV that I had in my bedroom to watch ECW. You know, obviously downstairs we had the big TV, and eventually I'd get a bigger TV in my bedroom. Probably 2001 I got one that was bigger. 2002. But this was the exact TV that I had in my bedroom, and it had radio. It had fucking radio on it. And, you know, the best part about it was I would record the Howard Stern show when I went to school. And I'd put in a VHS tape with extra long play set on, so it would record like 8 to 10 hours. And when I got home, I'd just rewind and listen to the Howard Stern show, because I would only catch, the first 15 or 20 minutes of Howard Stern in the morning. And I'd always be like, what's going to happen? Damn it, I want to get back to, oh man, I'm missing this fucking Stern show. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get derailed a lot in this video right now.
You did this. People's expectations in Sabu. Everybody knows your before the match. And he was
okay, here it is.
Went on to say, quote, I talked to Sabu a couple of days before the match, and he was telling me my knees hurt and this and that. And I said, listen, Sabu, everybody knows you're hurting. You're 20-something years older than the last time you did this. People's expectations are realistic. No one is expecting this to be born to be wired. And he said to me, good, because it's going to be better than that. But then things take a chaotic turn for the worse on the night of Sabu's final match, April 18th,
So there'll be some people that will be critical of that, and they'll say, well, the owner should have stepped in and said, dude, you know what? You don't need to do this. You don't need to do anything. Why don't you just appear and like get thrown into the barbed wire or do something and whatever, and like that's what we'll do. That's it. That's what we'll do. You know what I mean? Or and just have it be like an appearance moment type of thing, and let's not put you through all this. So there'll be some people that will, that will say, why didn't you do that? Instead. Is this a real photo from that night? This looks, maybe it's just so doctored.
2025 in GCW. Nothing was going to be easy with Sabu given his worn-down body and limited mobility after years of in-ring torture and damage. Joey Janela, the event's namesake and Sabu's final opponent, went on to say, quote, I was fairly confident that he was fine. I was kept in contact with him, and he has a team of people around him. They were all saying he was ready to go, that he was going to the gym, that he was on a training program. I believed them until the day of the show, then 2 hours before I got a call. Sabu can't walk. Janela responded by saying, what do you mean Sabu can't walk? They responded by saying, yeah, Sabu, something with his knee. They're locked up. He can't walk, and his feet are bleeding. He's not coming. Sabu's not coming. So we talked to indie wrestler Matt Tremont, and Tremont is about to be the replacement for the match. And I feel like this is going to be the most embarrassing moment of my wrestling career. There's 2,000 people here. The show must go on mindset is part of what has killed so many wrestlers in the past, and the fact that you could be so tone deaf to not understand that.
Well, I mean, Owen Hart died by falling from the ceiling in an accident.
Hollywood is cooking. It's cooking.
Oh shit, here we go. It's Louis Erdonetta.
So give me the both of you. The Rock wants your soul.
Let me hear it. Louis Erdonetta.
Louis Erdonetta, $10.
I'm sick with wrestling right now. Both companies are unwatchable right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sabu has given us so many gifts throughout the years. Like the guy is more entertaining than what's going on in WWE and AEW right now. The guy was 2 weeks ago when Sabu put his ass on the line. It was more entertaining, and now, unfortunately, sick to say, but he's entertaining us in a way again. Wish he wasn't. I wish he was here, and he lived a good last 10 years. But here comes another donation. It's the Bad Omen. The $10 train is exploding.
Then the Rock.
You guys can download this song on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. My goodness. The $10 rolling again. Coming up is the Hulk Hogan stuff too. Stick around for that.
That reminds me of the TV I had in my bedroom when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Watching Stern in the morning, then trying to see porn on there when it was scrambled. For Sabu, maybe they could have done an appearance where he comes out, gives the Arabian pile driver.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, you could have done that. I mean, you could have had someone fight for him or whatever. Yeah, I think there'll be some criticism about that. And sure, I get that. And you're right. The guy probably shouldn't have been out there wrestling, you know. But in the end, I still say, you know, I don't know, man. I'm somebody who still leaves it up to the person. You know what I mean? I don't blame. I'm just somebody who doesn't do that, I guess. I know that you could say they should have protected him from himself or whatever, but I'm somebody that says, man, you know what? If a legend like Sabu wants to do it, he knows. He knows what he's doing, whether he does or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows what he's doing. It's not like in the match the guy gets a severe trauma and they keep going. That you could maybe get into criticizing that. Like, somebody's going to step in and stop the match. I get that. And there was a little bit of that in this, maybe. But that's just a different situation. Serious Stroke Game and Luis Urdaneta, thank you guys for the $10. And then Bad Omen, thank you for the $10 again. And I had that TV as well, obviously, and you did too. And so, yeah, we saw a lot of the similar stuff and did a lot of the similar things with that TV. That's so funny. We're starting to get into old man territory where the younger generations are like, oh, God, these people with their nostalgia for themselves. You're always going to see nostalgia, man. You guys are all going to have it. Everybody's going to have it for the old times. There's going to be a point where we all have nostalgia for YouTube. I mean, I already have nostalgia for YouTube. I have nostalgia for 2010 YouTube. Like when Boogie 2988 was like, whatever, and then like when the Diablo 3 game came out and Boogie had the error, what the fuck was it, error 37 or whatever it was, and like the early days of YouTube, kind of like when the drama stuff was coming out and all that, like 2008 to 2015 time. The Yelvis, the what does the fox say? Remember that when everybody was doing that? Everybody was just getting onto YouTube and finding it out, and the songs that were going viral at the times, like those silly songs. And just YouTube was like, dude, it was more like Disney or something. I don't know how to explain it. It was more like silly and innocent. And even though it wasn't, because it was still savage, but I don't know, man, it's just so weird. But there's always nostalgia for things, and I'm very nostalgic. So I always yearn for the old times, which is a dangerous way to be. If you're somebody who always yearns for the old times, you're going to be depressed. You know, and if you're somebody who is always hoping for the future, you're going to be stuck. You know, so I need to try to live in the moment more, but whatever. I love it. Fuck it. I love looking at the past and talking about it. Anyway, so yeah, that TV, we all had that TV, and, you know, you stuck the VHS. I remember watching Star Trek Enterprise on it in 2002 and watching SmackDown at the same time. SmackDown was on and Star Trek Enterprise was on. Actually, I think it was more 2003 or 4. But yeah, I remember that vividly as well.
In that moment is insane to me. Janela continued to say, quote, "This is one of the biggest spring breaks ever. The biggest crowd Mania weekend indie-wise, and I'm going to have to go out there and announce that Sabu once again no-showed his own retirement match." To which again, I think it goes without saying, but indie show. Person's health. Meanwhile, Lauderdale, the promoter, was less concerned, going on to say, "In the back of my mind, I knew Sabu was coming. I never once worried. If we didn't hear from Sabu, then I would be worried. But the fact he was communicating, I knew he was coming. We are an hour into the show and I said, just get Sabu here," Janela continued. "So they gave him something called Kratom. You can buy it at a smoke shop or something. It's like a legal opiate or something. They said, he's hopping on the bed. He's hopping off the bed and we're going to get him to the show. So he shows up 2 hours into the show. Sabu was on a different fucking planet. Everyone in the backstage was like, what the fuck? Is this match going to happen? And my god, did it happen. I've seen discourse around Kratom and whether or not it killed Sabu. In all of my research, seemingly Kratom was something that Sabu had been using for years to help get off other substances. And when it comes to getting off other substances, it is a drug that other wrestlers have vouched for. But when it comes to something like Kratom, there are Kratom poison deaths that have been suspected in the past. But equally, upwards of 16 million people in the US are using Kratom for health reasons. But regardless, I think the way Joey...
How does something like this, like Kratom, like go under the radar? How does, when all these things that were banned for so many years, mushrooms and even weed. Weed's not banned now, but marijuana, and yet all this time kratom is legal when allegedly it's this powerful thing. I don't know. It's so strange to me. It's weird. I mean, I'm glad it's not. I don't want anything to be banned. I just want a lot of awareness. Don't ban stuff. Just give us awareness. More knowledge is better. Would be better in many instances.
Janela talks about this incident is gross. He's almost treating Sabu like he's a racehorse when he was in no condition to compete, but he forced it anyway. Moments into the match, Sabu went for his signature air Sabu dive off a chair, missed Janela and went chest first into the barbed wire strands, with his head landing and sticking in a giant crate of barbed wire. It was an immediate sign to the audience that this wasn't going to be a nostalgia match, that Sabu was going to go out on his own terms. Then, minutes later, Sabu got whipped into a barbed wire board, which was resting on the barbed wire ropes, and flipped backwards out of the ring, landing in—
Look at the new teeth on is that Alfonso? Look at the new teeth.
a heap.
Looking to send Sabu into it. Oh no! Stop!
Joey Janela would say, quote, "He was definitely out cold. He was done. They were telling me there was no way. The refs were communicating to me that there's no way he's continuing this match. Like, holy sh*, that is the one time you want the barbed wire to stop you. He just blew right through it." Janela continued saying, "And then his old ECW rival the Sandman came out, and that was all Sabu needed. Then the resurrection happened." Just because how ridiculous it was, if you were one of the wrestlers or one of the staff in the locker that night, you knew the panic in my eyes. And to see that get pulled off and the crowd to be on their feet, I mean, it's like dancing through raindrops and not getting wet. Now, in professional wrestling, it's very rare that you get the ending you deserve for one reason or another. Some careers, like the late great Bray Wyatt, never get to end, and some, like Ric Flair's, appear to go on for a dangerous amount of time. And then you have the legendary Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels, whose career came to a perfect end at WrestleMania 26. Sabu's penultimate match before this was in 2021 against someone named Mr. California in Stanton, California for a promotion called Extreme World Wrestling in a garage in front of maybe 100 people. That is traditionally how a legend goes out. But instead, for one last night, the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying maniac as an iconic wrestler of his generation was allowed to be Sabu once again. The chaos, the anarchy, the disregard for his own humanity. He was allowed to be him again. Joey Janela continued by saying, quote, "Everything that happened in that match happened for a reason. I'm just happy GCW gave him the platform in front of a sold-out house to have that moment and be Sabu for one last time. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, one of the greatest innovators of all time. I'm just glad we were able to get it off." Regardless of the—
Yeah, I mean, that's the really good thing for the match. I mean, he really went out. I mean, he got to have a crazy fucking match kind of for his age and his shape. And I don't know if we don't know his health issues that only he knew, right? What was going on.
Circumstances and the conditions of that day, he just made it happen, and I know he was happy. And I'm happy, the fans were happy, his friends were happy, and I'm just glad we gave him the one last chance to shine in the spotlight.
This is your plaque from last year. I know you're gonna give it to Johnny Vegas. He's gonna hang it up at the Nerd. Probably for $500 or something. But you are on my Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. You are number one on my Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. You're my favorite wrestler of all time, and you're a living, breathing legend. The reason that there's 2,000 people here today for an independent wrestling show is because
many were understandably quick to criticize.
It's a badass job promoting that shit, by the way. For GCW, for Sabu, Joey Janela, all those guys to draw 2,000 people there that night. What? Thank God. You know, how happy and proud must you have been for Sabu to be able to do that? Because like 600, 800 people is really good, right? But 2,000 people there, that's pretty cool.
The GCW owner and promoter Brett Lauderdale and Joey Janela for the circumstances around his final match, with some even going as far to connect it to his death. Janela and Lauderdale each expressed their sympathies for Sabu's passing while denying any wrongdoing in the situation. As I mentioned earlier, Janela initially said Sabu was knocked unconscious during the match, but went back on this after the fact. Quote, "I did an interview for that article 2 days after the match, not knowing what would transpire weeks later. And I said he was knocked out after that spot when, despite being a rough deal, he was not that. I was just trying to add to the lore and unpredictability of Sabu. I loved Sabu. He was legitimately my idol growing up and my friend. I just wanted to give him and the fans one last great Sabu spectacle." And of course, Sabu was Sabu. He may very well have wanted to compete and do all of that, and clearly he did to some extent, but if he's in no right mind to compete or make decisions like that,
honestly, like, I don't think anybody should really fully be blaming anybody, because we don't really fully know exactly what happened. But if you were going to maybe suggest there were some mistakes made by people that could have led to this issue. You put the criticism on Sabu's people, right? We keep hearing about his people. Sabu's handlers are his people. We don't know who the fuck are they? You know what I mean? What, like, is it the drug cartel and he owed somebody something and they're making him go out there so they can get some money? Or these are like family or friends, or like, who are these people, these handlers or whatever, that people that keep getting brought up? You know? I don't know. You don't know what the fuck? I don't know what that means. If anything, wouldn't you kind of blame them? Like, they're the ones with the guy saying like, hey, Sabu can't walk and shit. He's not doing this. We're not letting him. Goodbye. Sorry, you know, or we'll bring him, but he's not doing a wrestling match. I mean, okay. They know better. But they didn't say that. They said, no, he's good to go. Even though he couldn't walk, we gave him kratom. So aren't they more to blame for that? But I mean, not that I want to blame anybody. I'm just saying, like, why is it Joey Janela? Why is it GCW? Why aren't we looking into who are these people that are with Sabu that are the ones that brought this shit up? Anyway, but in retrospectively, I mean, like, we don't know if any of this had anything to do with it. It just so happens he had this match 2 weeks before his passing.
Call it off. In that situation, I don't think you get to go ahead and justify by saying, but the fans would have been sad. 2,000 people. It's what Sabu wanted to do. Realistically, if you're a human being who cares about other human beings, you see him in that situation and you think, okay, let's call in this other indie guy. Sorry, guys, it's his health. It comes first. Anyway, Janela continued by saying, quote, Sabu was fine the day after he signed at WrestleCon and has been doing many appearances since. I don't know what the cause of death is. All I can say is I wouldn't change a thing and I'm happy he went out on top. Janela has since responded to the allegations of his wrongdoing on Twitter by saying, we didn't give him kratom. His team did. It's also not illegal and 85%.
Who is his team?
Of professional wrestlers do it, especially the ones on TV. So fuck you. He continued saying, people use kratom to get off pills. I didn't give shit to him. Unfortunately, people are acting like I shot someone up with black tar heroin or dropped something in his drink. So what do you think of the Sabu situation and the tragedy that this is unfortunately?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far on Joey Janela. Like, why would you do that? You know, could if you want to say to Joey Janela, hey man, I think you should have stopped the match, or you should have said, fuck this, we're not doing it. Fine. You want to say that about Joey Janela, like that I didn't agree with you guys going out there and wrestling? Okay. Well, guess what? Sabu did, his people did, Joey did, and GCW did. You know what I mean? There was multiple people involved. So to say that Joey Janela, you know, did he make, you know, are there some poor decisions? Maybe. Maybe. If it had anything to do with his death, then yeah, maybe there were. Right? But if not, the fuck do you know? Okay, let's switch gears. We've been talking a lot about Sabu, right? And this situation with Joey Janela, Sabu, GCW, all that shit. We've been doing a lot of that. Let's shift gears for a few minutes. We'll come back to it. We'll do more. We'll do whatever you guys want. And if you guys want to donate, you guys can donate by clicking the Streamlabs link pinned to the top of the chat. And donations are on the table. The top donations right now are $10. Anybody beats these $10 and your name will be solo up here. So feel free to try to beat them if you want. Support my show, support my channel, support me, because we're falling apart on this channel. But that's okay. So support the show if you want to, because we're in trouble. But anyway, that I'm only going to promote it one time every hour, or every 30 minutes, or every 20 minutes. Anyway, let's go to this Hulk Hogan clip.
Signing and putting on these big events.
Eric is.
Okay.
No, just kidding. No, just kidding. We're funded by Left Lane Capital, and they basically are in the.
So Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff are on the Ariel's Heine show, and they're talking about the whole deal with the real pro wrestling brother. And I found something interesting about this, and we're going to listen. You're going to see what I'm talking about in a second. It's very interesting to me, and I think it's a big giveaway that this is going to be a big failure. Maybe you're thinking like, oh, I knew it was going to be a failure. But like everything nowadays, right? Like so many other things, it doesn't matter that maybe something is going to eventually be a failure. Maybe something is only going to last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years. And in the end, it wasn't very good, and maybe it's a failure. But you might think that, but it's not a failure to all the people involved. See, back in the day, it might be a failure. You would throw your own money at something, or people would throw some kind of money at something and attempt it, and they would fail at it, and they would lose all the money, lose everything, and never make money, and they're in fucking trouble, right? And maybe they wasted their life savings or something trying to put on a TV show or something like that. That is not at all what's happening here with real pro wrestling or whatever this is. And so that's just to set it up. Let's listen and we'll explain.
Live sports there, and they started the Sean White. We talked about that earlier. The Sean White snowboarding league, the girls volleyball, the guys that actually play chess. They've got a whole league for that too. So they were really excited when we stepped up to the line with this idea, and they're the horsepower behind us.
Okay. Eric, I know that you are somewhat, you're a student of the game, and you probably know that there was a promotion some 23 or so years ago called Real Pro Wrestling that tried to launch something like this back in the day, and they had names like Daniel Cormier and King Muhammad Lawal, and in the end, they didn't really get off the ground. They didn't have great success. Anything that you guys have learned from what they did or didn't do that you're hoping to implement with your promotion?
Now, they did, what he means by get off the ground, he means like it really never took off. Like it was on TV, it did things, and nobody cared, and it didn't work out, right? So you would think, obviously, let's see what Eric Bischoff learned from that.
Not familiar with what their efforts were, certainly familiar in their attempt, so I can't really analyze what they've done and what we can learn from that. But in my experience, look, we know we have a good idea.
That is the most crazy fucking thing that you've ever heard. I want to play that one more time so people listening understand. Eric Bischoff is being asked, after a real wrestling promotion tried this 20 years ago, from that, what are you doing different and what are you learning in this new venture version of it?
Not familiar with what their efforts were, certainly familiar in their attempt. So I can't really analyze what they've done and what we can learn from that. But in my...
Eric Bischoff didn't fucking study or bother to look at or learn from the failures of a company that's doing exactly what his brand new company is going to do. So you're telling me that Eric Bischoff never looked or studied what that failure pro wrestling show, real pro wrestling show from 20 years ago did, and did wrong. I've also heard Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan talk about how their show is going to have, it's going to be about showing you who the wrestler really is behind the scenes and, painting a picture of them. And that's how a lot of this is going to be done. Guys, please hit the like button. We've only got 78. That's fucking crazy. Please hit the like button. So Eric Bischoff doesn't know what the fuck is going on or how this is going to work. Let me tell you why Eric Bischoff would not know. There's only two ways to go. Number one, if you are putting your money or something on the line to start a show like this, and you heard about an old show that didn't work out, if you're putting your money on the line in this, and you really need it to do well, you're going to study that promotion like a hawk. And Eric Bischoff's response here is going to be, well, they spent too much time trying to build up the wrestlers, and they weren't interesting enough. Our show is going to be much more interesting. It's going to be much more fast-paced. It's going to be much more audience-driven as well. There's going to be so much audience participation and excitement where that show didn't have it. It was kind of like, here's a backstory of the guy. Now here's the wrestling match, I guess. There were teams like in the NHL or NFL, like where there were players on a team. There's a structure of standings like that. We're doing things a little bit different. I can't talk about it right now, but the bottom line is you're going to see it. But trust me, we've studied that, and we think we know what we're going to be doing that works and what we're going to be doing, that doesn't work. We're not going to do it. And there may be some things that we tweak along the way, and we're just going to keep trying to perfect that painting. But yeah, we've made those efforts. But no, his response is, no, I don't know anything about their efforts. What the fuck are you talking about? So why does Eric Bischoff not know about the previous efforts? Because Eric Bischoff doesn't give a shit. You know why? Because Netflix or Peacock or Paramount or somebody is going to pay millions of dollars to produce this, and somebody else is going to pay Eric Bischoff $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, some amount to basically be involved with this. And it doesn't matter if it fails. It doesn't matter if it does good, bad, whatever. Eric Bischoff is already being paid. He's not really in charge of this. He's a producer consultant type of person, and it doesn't matter. If it fails or not, he's getting paid. There's going to be a deal done. He's going to get a percentage of the deal, and that's it. That's how I know it doesn't matter. Fucking doesn't matter to Eric Bischoff if this does well or not. He's going to get paid anyway, no matter what. Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan are getting paid no matter what, if it fails or not. That's why they don't know anything about the previous one. Because look at the previous show. Take a look at the previous show, guys.
You know what? Tolly Thompson's fall helped the California claw their way back into opportunity to get back into the prize money. That's their goal, is to come back, have opportunity to win some money for their team.
Well, before the match begins, let's take a minute and meet our wrestlers on Real Pro Wrestling.
My name's Tolly Thompson. I wrestle 120 kilos. Well, growing up in...
This is literally how they described their show. That they're going to have commentators. It's going to be like a sport. We're going to have this backstory on getting to know who the wrestlers really are. But they're going to, they know how to kind of like play into the antics of wrestling.
Iowa, one of the best states in the country. No neighbors. It's peaceful. I enjoy being on a silver platter. Morning.
All right, go!
I'm a PE teacher, kindergarten through 6th grade.
See, the old approach was kind of to make it sort of like a reality TV show, but then the sporting event happens.
I'm ready for some pain, so let's get it on. Insecurities.
Now that we've met our wrestlers, let's go to the mat for the battle. Rick Baird, our announcer, it's all...
Like, how is this going to be different? And Eric Bischoff's response is, I'm not familiar with that. I mean, bro, what kind of slap in the fucking face is it that Eric Bischoff, if he had just watched this clip for about 10 minutes like I'm doing right now, he would be able to tell you what's different or not. You're telling me that he didn't even watch these clips to find out what worked and didn't work? That's crazy right there. That alone tells you that it's just about the money. It's just about the money. Eric Bischoff isn't fucking, and Hulk Hogan aren't, trying to make something that's going to work awesome. They're just getting paid regardless. They don't care. If they cared, they would watch this and they would have had a take on this.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's time to wrestle.
Ridiculous.
For the Texas Shooters,
I mean, they even have entrances.
Welcome back for the biggest Real Pro Wrestling semifinal match to date. Big because we're talking about the heavyweights, 264 pounds, where the #1 heavyweight in the USA, California's Tolly Thompson, is attempting to claw his way to an RPW national title. His opponent, Kellen...
The way that you can make this better is, there's a couple of things in my opinion. I think the way that you could make this better, well, first of all, that guy's name looks like it's the F word and the N word combined in one. I don't know if anybody can see that, but this guy's name is literally FN word. I mean, what? What the hell? Anyway, that's really that guy's last name. I think one way you make it better is you have betting, right? Can you have betting on this? If you can have betting on FanDuel and DraftKings, that will be fun. Like the odds on the guys will be fun. Obviously their records. I think if you could have entrance music, kind of like how WWE and wrestling has entrance music, and you let the guys like pick the entrance song or something like that, maybe you can like license that. I don't know if it's too much money to do that though, so maybe not, but you could put some pyro out there. I think that also, you could have the audience vote before the match starts on who they think is going to win and show that data. And then whoever wins, if the audience is happy with it, or maybe you could have real-time reactions from audience members or from the fans. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think the commentary should be really good. Like, you should have, like, one really analytical guy, one sort of color commentator who used to be an amateur wrestler who's got a good voice, and maybe even have a third guy who's like a gimmick. Like Snoop Dogg or something. Remember when Snoop Dogg did commentary? Like somebody like Snoop Dogg. Have a guy who's like a silly person who's, a gimmick commentator. So you get the amateur wrestler who's doing color maybe, or and then you get, the real play-by-play guy who's good, like Mauro Ranallo or somebody like that. Like I would love to commentate this. I'd have to learn. I used to know some of the wrestling moves back in the day, but I'd have to do some studying and working on things and stuff like that. But I mean, let's listen to some of this commentary and see.
Flukinger represents the Texas Shooters.
Flukinger, he's tough. He's wrestling good.
Like they're doing the real-time stats. Like there's a takedown there. I mean, you can bet at home on how many takedowns and things there'll be.
He was sixth in the 2004 U.S. Nationals. So it's going to be
has a great gut wrench and ankle lace. He's got every tool it takes to become the first national championship at heavy.
That music has to go. Right there, I'll tell you one thing. I know that they're probably trying to spice up things. There's some kind of like porno music playing in the background. You guys hear that?
Wait for the US of A.
For Real Pro Wrestling, would you say that you think
maybe that's okay, but I don't know.
It's great. He is one of the best conditioned, heavyweights that we have in America. I look forward to watching him come in.
Guys, it's just not that entertaining. When it comes down to it, watching guys wrestle like this, like rubbing up on each other and waist locks like this and shit. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like sumo wrestling is more entertaining. Sumo wrestling.
Overmatched, Here's Tolly Thompson out there. Great position, gut wrench. Drive. He has to keep pushing with his legs. Drive, take him over for 2 points. And what he does here is he holds him for what's called a 5 count. Gets you one extra bonus point. So right there, here we go with great.
Bro, I'm sorry. You know what? After watching this, I feel like I'm cheating on my wife or something. Maybe it just doesn't work. Maybe it just don't work. I mean, if they were wrestling like this, like with fire going off around them and fireworks, like imagine if random pyro could explode on them while they're wrestling and the fans trigger it at home. Or like the biggest donation, like you can donate. Like dude, imagine that. Like I bet I could put on a show where like I get two guys to wrestle, and if you donate like $100 during the stream, like fireworks go off on the wrestlers, or people shoot fireworks at the wrestlers. And if you donate $1,000 at home, then like the wrestlers get to wrestle with like, I don't know, like a broomstick or something, or I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like crazy shit can happen. Like the wrestlers get to use like fireworks on each other, I don't know. Or like if you donate $1,000 at home, then like randomly we can throw forks at the wrestlers while they're wrestling. Crazy shit like that. Baseballs, we throw baseballs at them, or we throw like fart spray in on them so they have to wrestle each other while it stinks like shit farts and they might puke because of how nasty it stinks. and the fart spray lasts like, you know what I mean, like 3 minutes or a minute or something. So like we put a funny gas thing up that says like fart in the mix, and they're like, oh, and they're like wrestling and shit. Like I bet I could put that on YouTube and it would make more money. Like I have like Mr. Beast, call me Mr. Beast anytime. I could put that on Mr. Beast's channel, and it's fucking weird, but it would do better than this. I bet. Maybe. I don't think you have to go get 1 million people to all compete for $50,000 or whatever that is. No, dude, you just need 2 wrestlers. 2 wrestlers. And let people at home affect the outcomes. That would be way funner. I would have way more of a fun time watching that. Like if you donate $100, you know, somebody throws water on them. If you donate $1,000, you know, this happens. If you donate $5,000, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I said, you could do something crazy. You could like $500, like 7 people put laser pointers on their eyes. And all the meanwhile of this, the winner of the wrestling match wins $10,000. Or fuck it, the winner of the wrestling match wins, you know, 10% of the donations. Whatever that is, 20% of the donations. I don't know. You give the guy who loses like $1,000 for competing, and you give the winner 20% of the donations, or whatever that is. The donations are up to $32,000 on YouTube. We're up to $32,000, and we're in round 2 here. Stake him now. Has him in a waist lock. He's controlling the body again. He had a takedown just a few minutes ago, and someone just donated $500. That means now that they're gonna dump human piss on these wrestlers. Here it comes. Yeah, oh my God. There's human piss on them. Like, oh my God, bro, would you not watch that? It would be fucking crazy. You know? Like, dude, Mr. Beast, call Joe Cronin. And it would do better. It would do better than this. I promise. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need to you know. Anyway, I found that clip to be very interesting, that it seems like Eric Bischoff really doesn't know anything about this previous company, and he has no solutions for how this is going to really be better, because some group of people is paying him probably $1 million, and they're going to strike a deal with Netflix or somebody for $5, $10, $20 million, $30 million, whatever it is. And Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan are just going to get paid just for being figurehead producer people. That's it. He doesn't care. That's why I think it's going to fail. It's going to fail because they don't care. It doesn't matter. They're going to make money regardless. Hogan and Bischoff are going to make money. The people funding this whole thing, they're going to make money. And Netflix is going to make money. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is there's going to be very little viewership for this. Probably. And then it's going to die off. And in the end, Netflix or Peacock or whoever buys this was going to pay somebody for trash content anyway. And these guys were just smart enough to create a product to offer up so that they could make some money. And so they all win. Everybody wins. I mean, I think in the end, really, it's like Netflix and Peacock or whoever buys this, they kind of lose because it's really not going to bring a whole lot more eyes onto their networks for more than like the first 1 or 2 episodes, and it's not really going to be that valuable. But in the end, like I said, they would have bought any piece of shit just they have to add content. Every quarter or whatever, they go, oh, we've got $100 million we need to spend on new product. Doesn't matter really what it is too much, but kind of it does. You know, we've got $100 million we need to spend on really good shows to get a really good show or two, but then we've got kind of like this fuck you throwaway money. And it's just going to go to anybody who's smart enough to have made something. And that's what this is. That's why Hogan's going to make money. Bischoff's going to make money. Their handlers or producers of this whole thing that are funding it, they're going to make money. And Netflix, in the end, and Peacock will have, I mean, they're going to lose the money that they would have lost anyway that wasn't going to grow anything anyhow. So kind of they're the ones that will lose out in the end, but not really. That's it. Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, Jennifer Muppet Baby. That's exactly it. That's why Eric Bischoff doesn't have an answer, because he's not even doing the research into the old company, because he's not the one really creating the whole thing for the most part. They're these people that are handling Bischoff and Hogan. They're the ones that are coming up with the whole thing, and Bischoff and Hogan are putting minimal input into it. They're mostly kind of working with the wrestlers and the talent. And they're there as these production consultants who will make money. So therefore, guys, that's why the losers are going to be us, who probably watch the product for a second. And like I said, maybe Netflix and Peacock might lose a little bit of something. But, you know, in the end, these guys are all going to win. And I'm not going to repeat everything I just said again, but that's why. And that is some, you know, I am kind of guessing with some of that. I don't know that all 100%. I could be wrong, could be full of shit. I could be. I'm speculating, right? I don't really know all that. I'm taking a good guess. But the facts are the facts that Eric Bischoff said here. He doesn't know what the fuck the original company that is basically doing almost identically what they're saying they're going to do. He's saying he never looked into that. If this was Eric Bischoff's company, or he had full creative control and he was coming up with something that he was putting his money into, he would 100% know what the fuck happened the last time this was tried.
Launching one isn't cheap. Who's the money behind this? Who's paying for all these great athletes that you guys are signing and putting on these big events?
Eric is.
Okay.
No, just kidding. No, just kidding. We're funded by Left Lane Capital.
Aha! Funded by Left Line Capital. Some conglomeration of people who do other little shows like this are funding them to be the figureheads of it. Funding the whole product. They're the figureheads and the consultants and the producer faces. And they're going to make a deal with Netflix or Peacock for millions of dollars. Eric Bischoff and Hogan are going to get 30% or some shit. Those other guys are going to get all their money back that they spent and make some more on the top. All the wrestlers are going to get paid. All the people are going to get paid. And Netflix and Peacock are either going to get something that, you know, kind of gives them some content, or just didn't really work out for them, but they were throwing the money away anyway. See? That's what this is. Nailed it.
And they basically are in the live sports. They started the Sean White. We talked about that earlier, the Sean White snowboarding league, the girls volleyball, the guys that actually play chess. They've got a whole league for that too. So they were really excited when we stepped up to the line with this idea, and they're the horsepower behind us.
Okay. Eric, I know that you are somewhat, you know, you're a student of the game, and you probably know that there was a promotion some 23 or so years ago called Real Pro Wrestling.
See, this is why Eric is about to not give a shit about this question.
That tried to launch something like this back in the day, and they had names like Daniel Cormier and King Muhammad Lawal, and in the end, they didn't really get off the ground. They didn't have great success. Anything that you guys have learned from what they did or didn't do that you're hoping to implement with your promotion?
Not familiar with what their efforts were, certainly.
Because it doesn't matter. All we need to do is put out a product, and they're going to pay me millions of dollars. Our people are going to make millions of dollars, and Netflix and Peacock are giving it out. You think this is what Netflix and Peacock want to hear? Bro, I'm pulling the fucking deal if I hear this. I'm calling up Eric Bischoff and saying, hey, you don't have a fucking plan for what to do better for the other thing that didn't work out at all? We're not fucking funding this. But you know what? Peacock and Netflix, they don't care. They're like, hey, what do you got? We need content. We are desperate for content. What do you got? Well, I got a show where guys compete shooting crossbows and shit and the axe throwing and stuff like that. It's this big thing. Wow, we love that. That's great. Okay, put that together. We'll give you we'll give you $100 million to make it or whatever. Like, trust me, dude. Trust me, that's what's going on. Nobody, if really cared what was going on, would be happy with that answer by Eric Bischoff. I think Eric Bischoff probably kind of made a mistake by answering this, but honestly, I think nobody cares and nobody's going to realize this. I think nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to realize it. No one gives a shit, and they're all going to get paid, so who gives a fuck? But if you cared and you were worried about getting a partner and getting someone to sign your company and sign your product and pay for it, your answer there would be like, oh, of course, we took a look at that. We saw all the things that they were doing wrong and identified a lot of it. We looked at some of the exit polls of people. I mean, we looked at so many things. And in the end, our product is going to be different than that in a way that will blow your mind. Trust me, we've looked into it. I don't want to get into specifics because I want people to be kind of shocked by what they see on day one. But you'll see what I'm talking about then. But we are aware that, things were handled differently. But, I handle things a whole lot differently, and so doesn't the team behind this product, and you'll see that. But he didn't say that because this product is either the same fucking thing or he doesn't care anyway, and he really just didn't watch it.
Something like this back in the day, and they had names like Daniel Cormier and King Muhammad Lawal, and in the end, they didn't really get off the...
He doesn't even say, oh, we're going to have big names too, or no, our guys are going to be unknowns and it's going to be exciting. Like, none of that there.
They didn't have great success. Anything that you guys have learned from what they did or didn't do that you're hoping to implement with your promotion?
Not familiar with what their efforts were, certainly familiar in their attempt. So I can't really analyze what they've done and what we can learn from that. But in my experience, look, we know we have a good...
That's crazy.
Good idea.
But we know we have a good idea. It's not that we have a good idea. You have a product to sell. It doesn't matter if the product sucked always, failed in the past. This would be like, I'm trying to think about it. This would be like somebody being like, you know what, everybody? I'm bringing back beta. I'm bringing back tapes. People love tapes. I'm bringing back tapes. I got something where they're like VHS tapes, but they're at a more of a HD. They're more like upscaled tapes. And then someone goes, well, there used to be beta. Are you familiar with how beta went back in the day? No, I really didn't. I didn't look at that, but I'm doing it. What? Or or a better analogy. It's not a really good analogy. Like, come up with a better analogy than that. But like, are you like, oh, something failed in the past. We're now doing that. I'm aware that somebody else did that exact thing years ago, but now we're doing it. Oh, well, what are you going to do different than what they did? Well, I don't know what they did, really. I just know that I know there was that it existed, but I don't know what they did, so I couldn't say. What?
The reason most good ideas don't succeed is because they're either not well funded, we don't have that issue, or they have a challenge in execution. I don't think we've got a problem there either. Don't want to sound cocky. We know we've got our work cut out for us. Creating the drama that we need to create to attract a mainstream television audience.
It's more than just drama, too. It's more than drama. It's how it's done. It's how it's presented. But in the end, dude, I think there's a massive problem. I think there's a massive problem with the actual competition. I think that's the thing that these people are overlooking. It's not just the drama of who the person is and their rivalry with somebody else. I think it comes down to the actual activity is fucking boring. That's the problem. You could have a guy who legitimately hates another guy and talk crazy shit about the other guy. But in the end, if they're just going in to thumb war wrestle each other, 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare thumb war, it don't matter if the guy fucked the other guy's wife in front of his family, potentially. But anyway, I hope you guys can hit the like button. We talked a lot about SABU and a lot of other things, including this situation. Let's go over let's take a look at some of the wrestling news, I suppose. Thank you to Bad Omen and Serious Stroke Game and Louis Urdaneta, man, for showing up tonight, baby, with some donations there. I know this I know that we're all dying here, and the sad last days and everything, but I appreciate you guys being here to support it a little bit, and for being patrons on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show, and obviously, like I said, for hitting that like button. Let me see. Do we have 100 likes yet? Almost. We're 95 likes. We're getting there. Very close. Okay, let's see what we got here. Bear with me. So, I don't know if there's anything else interesting. I really hammered these to death, though. We've been streaming for 2 hours. 2 hours of streaming. WWE filed a trademark for a potential faction name, which people think this is related to Seth Rollins, maybe. WWE filed a new trademark for USPTO for the name The High Rise. The description of a trademark reads as follows. This is from WrestleZone. Entertainment services, namely wrestling exhibitions and performances by a professional wrestler entertainer rendered live through broadcast media, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's what they write, to say like, hey, nobody can take that name. It's in wrestling because it's like a wrestling thing we're doing. I don't know. I don't know if this is like a little WrestleZone speculates that it has something to do with Triple H's Terror Rising. But the name is The High Rise. RYZE, The High Rise. So tonight on NXT it will be revealed that The High Rise is the new name of Wes Lee's faction, so Rollins' stable name is still a mystery for now. Okay, that's an update. Okay, so this was updated. I didn't see NXT. Okay, I had no idea. So NXT happened, and The High Rise is the name of Wes Lee's faction. So Rollins is potentially getting a stable name, but it's not that. Okay, my bad. I didn't know that. Okay, that makes more sense now. Okay. I don't give a shit. That's a fucking stupid name. I was going to say The High Rise. What the fuck does that have to do with, like, what is... That's stupid. I was thinking that in my head. I kept thinking that, and then I was reading, and then they're like, no, that's the NXT thing. Okay, thank God. Because that sounds dumb. It sounds more like an NXT thing. I don't know. Nothing else really tickles my pickle right now. Rhea Ripley goes off on a portion of wrestling fans. Is that related to the whole report of her getting pregnant or being pregnant or leaving to be pregnant or whatever? Oh, Miles Bourne the other night. I actually saw the half deaf guy or the somewhat deaf guy, Miles Bourne. He cut a promo that was great the other night. I mean, this guy with oh my God, he was like something about like, let's focus. I want to focus on my ability, not my disability or something. I don't know. He cut a promo that was great. I heard the promo. It was really good. That guy, if only that guy was in real professional wrestling in a promo, you might be rooting for that guy to pin a guy in a wrestling match. So that was really good by him. Great stuff. I mean, that was a good promo. So, nice. Nice stuff. Let's see. That's about it, man. I suppose that's it, bro. I suppose I wrap it up. The Diddy trial, I didn't watch it. I don't know anything about it. Know anything about the Diddy trial. If you guys want to support my channel, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for doing so. You guys can support this channel on, of course, by donating live, like all these other people did tonight. Thank you to Bad Omen for dropping $10. Louis Urdaneta for $10. Serious Stroke Game for $10. Ali Abdelaziz, $2 super chat. El Tapo with the $5. Dan21, the $2 super chat. And Bad Omen dropped another $10. Pacharo with the $3. Love you, brother. Thank you all for donating a little bit there to make, to try to help out a little bit. Thank you for that. And you can support on Venmo directly or on Cash App. YouTube.com/Joe Cronin Show. Subscribe to the channel. PayPal.me/Joe Cronin Show if you want to donate that way directly to me on the side. PayPal.me/Joe Cronin Show. Or Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. You get a whole bunch of podcasts and thousands of episodes of all kinds of stuff we've done in the past that are funny, like Corrupted Podcast, my Morning Madness episodes, me and my wife's podcast, my mother. So many podcasts all over the place, all on Patreon, not on YouTube. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show for $2 a month, $5 a month. Man, is it worth it if you like that sort of thing and you want to hear all these bonus things and fucking epic shows from back in the day all over Patreon. And yeah, thank you guys for trying to keep this shit going. We're doing okay. Doing okay. It's all right. We're trying to make it happen, to make it go. Into the wilderness, we're trying to make it go. Greater than anyone else. Make it go. I made it go into my wife. I don't know why I'm doing that, by the way. I'm sorry. What the fuck? That's it. I'll see you guys. I might see you guys Thursday or Friday at one point, maybe. And then certainly I'll see you Saturday night for Monetize This 504. The 504th episode of Monetize This on Saturday night. I look forward to it. Thank you for supporting the channel. Shout out to the Monetize This champion, Luke Rojas. He's out there somewhere. And if you guys have things you want me to react to, you can send it to me on Patreon, Discord, or on Twitter X at MetaWorld Online, Facebook.com/Joe Cronin Show. Thank you guys for being here and for hitting the like button. Happy birthday, Dan. Happy birthday. All right, guys. I'll see you.